Hi, I'm Adrienne Pasquarelli, Special Projects Editor and Senior Reporter at Ad Age, and welcome to another edition of the Marketer's Brief Podcast, our weekly discussion about marketing news and trends that have the industry buzzing. Recent years have seen an influx of new cosmetics brands pop up, making it even more difficult to stand out with effective marketing. Today, we'll be talking with Jeremy Lowenstein, Chief Marketing Officer of Milani Cosmetics. He'll discuss how the brand has found success with its product and marketing strategy, a new campaign, and what comes next for the brand. Now here's my conversation with Jeremy. Hi, Jeremy. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us about Milani Cosmetics. How old is the brand and what does it sell?
Yeah, so Milani was originally started in 2001 by a brother and sister who had come from a family of cosmetics brand owners. And Milani was originally started with a dual purpose in mind. So it is a cosmetics brand, full service, eye, lip, and face. And the original pillars for the brand were one, to democratize prestige makeup. So make it affordable and accessible to everybody without sacrificing on quality. And second was originally to serve the underserved. So for them at that point, it was Black women. That was the original target. And fast forward to today, Milani is the leading multicultural makeup brand in the mass market. And we have a strong presence within the Latina Hispanic community.
Now, I didn't realize that the brand is that old. Why do you think that you've been able to see such sustained growth over the last quarter century?
Yeah, I
Almost.
think a lot of people are just sort of catching up to Milani, and it's kind of been the best kept secret of mass makeup. And for us, I think this is the right time, the right place for Milani to really step into the limelight here for a few different reasons. One, I think as consumers have sort of looked for more access across all the different channels, so the blurring of distribution, so between prestige, mass, .com, there's a little bit more fluidity, and consumers are looking for products that still deliver high performance, but they don't want to break the bank. And Milani has always been that. And I think people are starting to take hold of what Milani stands for, and they're discovering it. Second, I think there's been a reckoning in really color cosmetics as a whole around inclusivity for shade range, for pigments that are available that work across skin tones. And having, I've worked in the beauty industry for over 2 decades, for me, I'm proud to say that Milani, since its inception, has always had that at its heart. And I think sometimes there are makeup brands that really just think about the complexion business when it comes to skin tone inclusivity. So whether that's foundation or concealer, but for us, yes, we have those. We have 45 shades of our Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. We have 18 shades of our concealer. But what we're actually known for as well is our baked blushes. And why that's important, aside from the format, so that baked richness and payoff, is actually the pigment load and the pigment choices that we make to put into our products, and they work across all skin tones. That also goes into other product lines like lipstick. People assume that everyone's lip tones are the same. 2 years ago, we launched Color Fetish Mattes, and we launched 6 nude shades. And when we develop our products, we make sure that we are designing and testing them on all skin and lip tones. And when we launched those, we heard right away from our consumers across social, thank you for developing lipsticks that actually work for me. And that's really been Milani's ethos. And so we'll put those two pieces together of inclusive beauty and accessible luxury. We're really at the right time, right place for Milani to really showcase its unique point of view in the market.
And where are you selling primarily? Is it wholesale as well as direct to consumer?
So we are one of the only omni-channel brands within mass color. So we have our own D2C site. We sell with Ulta, Walmart, Target, CVS, Walgreens, and then Amazon. And then we have obviously the food channel, so Albertsons, Kroger, so well over 25,000 doors in the US, plus 40 countries.
And how does price point enter the equation of success for the brand? You mentioned that a little bit earlier, but roughly what is the price point?
Yeah, the average price point for a Milani product is around $10. So, I think as you look at the mass color arena over the past few years, prices have come up a little bit, but they're still way more affordable and accessible than the prestige counterparts. And where we're able to again see success given our quality is consumers are constantly comparing Milani products to the best of prestige. So, for instance, we launched Fruit Fetish lip oil about a year and a half ago. We were one of the first to market in mass color. And lip oil is one of the fastest growing subsegments in the category. But people were comparing us to brands like Dior. But with our product, you can buy 4 flavors versus Dior, where same price for one product. So again, this ability to have access, but still never have to sacrifice on quality and payoff.
Yeah, that affordability is probably super helpful with people who are more willing to explore in cosmetics and beauty than they were maybe a few years back. It's more
Yeah, and
accessible.
I completely agree. And I think that quality piece, though, has been always the missing angle, is there was a perception that you were going to sacrifice on product performance by quote unquote trading down to a mass or a drug channel. And I think when you look at our product, what's unique about it not only is that we can say that it's prestige quality, but you can tell that based on where it's made. So almost all of our products are made in Europe, Korea, or North America. So when you think about quality products and craftsmanship, think about fashion. People think about Europe for fashion. Same thing with makeup. Italy is really one of the birthplaces of cosmetics. And so our baked blushes are actually made like in an atelier style fashion in Italy. They are baked on terracotta tiles. They come out of an oven and then they're put into their cases. So that quality really stands through. So you think about, oh, I don't have to spend $50 for a blush. I can spend the $10, get the same quality, and buy multiple shades.
So it's actually baked blush. I never even thought about that.
It
It's
is
not just a
baked in an
marketing
oven.
term. It's actually
It is not a marketing term. It is actually the format and how it is produced. They are hand mixed. They mix the pigment in there. They form them into little sort of round domes. They put them on a terracotta tile. They go into the oven and they come out. And then they are dusted off. They are put into the compact, sealed, and shipped.
Now, you mentioned a background in beauty. When did you join the company and how did your background prepare you for this role?
Yeah, so I've been with Milani for 3 years now. And like I said, I've been in beauty for over 2 decades, but I call it the pleasure and honor of working at some of the, legacy beauty companies like Estee Lauder. I worked at Aveda, I worked at Coty, and I've worked across several brands. And both of those being the bulk of my experience, I really was able to learn the fundamentals of how to build a brand, how to think about marketing and product strategy, and also multiple channels. I've worked on professional brands, prestige brands, I've worked on mass brands, and then I've worked across category. I've done everything from hair care, skin care, body care, color, fragrance. And then more recently, over the past about, say, 6 years, I've moved to the indie side of the business where I've had the opportunity to learn the new shape of prestige distribution, but also Amazon and D2C. And what all of that really helped prepare me for my role at Milani because I've now touched all the channels. And like I said, Milani is truly an omni-channel business. So I've run Amazon businesses and D2C and mass as well as international. So that really gives me a little bit more of a holistic view on how to take Milani to the next level.
So, what about your target customer in terms of age? Would you say you're geared more toward younger, like Gen Z, or older generations, or both?
Yeah, again, given the brand is 23 years old, I think we speak to a lot of different consumers. One of the things that we've done over the past 3 years is relook at our product architecture and portfolio, but also how we show up in market. So elevating the look and feel. So we've reshot all of the imagery and product videos. And by doing that, we started to speak to a different audience. So the bulk of our consumers sit between millennial and Gen Z. And why that's important, again, we're probably of the more mastige price point. So they are more discerning in their choices and what products they're picking. They know they're willing to spend a little bit more. So if they're trading up, then that's great. And they're willing to pay for the quality, or they're potentially trading down from prestige. So they have a higher level of disposable income. But second, like I said, the brand still remains true to why it started, of that inclusive audience, with well over 45% of our consumers claiming that they deem as multicultural.
And how does balancing that inclusive audience affect your marketing?
It doesn't really affect it. I think there's like I said, a lot of brands that who have shifted their marketing strategy to try to attract a new consumer and that inclusive audience. For us, it's just about how we've always shown up. And that is, from our distribution to the talent that we feature to the shades that we develop. So it doesn't really shift our strategy. We may start to change tactics on whether it's media placements and partnerships. But again, it is really at the core of what Milani stands for. So we get to sort of wear that badge proudly. And when you talk to consumers, why they love Milani, they organically talk about that it's a brand for them, for their skin tone.
Do you have a current brand campaign, or what's the strategy currently this summer?
Yeah, it's actually quite an exciting time. We just launched a new campaign a few weeks back celebrating our Make It Last setting spray. And if you don't know what a setting spray is, it's actually been the best kept secret of makeup artists. And it's basically locks in your makeup. I actually heard a great comparison the other day. It's like hairspray, but for your face, because it locks in your look. It's not hairspray though. And Milani has had the #1 setting spray in the US with our Make It Last Original. And the category has had experienced tremendous growth over the past few years as more and more content was coming out. People were seeing all these tricks of the trade, and that helped propel us, even further. And there was a piece of content from a few different creators last year that we saw, and they said, this product is amazing. It held my makeup for up to 24 hours. Now, our claim had been up to 16 hours. And, the product's not a new product. And we said, we're going to take that challenge and put it to the test again and retest our product with consumers. And we were able to achieve the up to 24 hours of wear, waterproof and sweatproof. So we said, great, we're going to start to lean into that. And we launched a soft campaign last year around endurance testing. And we had a partnership with Barry's, both in New York and LA. And we invited about over 100 different creators and editors to test out the product. Because if you're familiar with Barry's, it's high intensity workouts. You're running on a treadmill for half an hour. You're lifting weights. And if the setting spray can hold your makeup during that, you probably should be good to go. So we did that. The reviews were outstanding. We said there's more to this story. So now pivot to what else is happening in culture. We obviously see the continued rise of women in sports and that focus on that demographic. And we wanted to say, hey, this is actually the perfect marriage. Capitalize on the cultural moment. We see that our consumers actually engaged in sports, and we know this product is great for endurance. So we brought on 4 different athletes. So we have Sabrina Ionescu from the WNBA, who plays for the New York Liberty. We have Jordan Chiles, who's an Olympic gymnast. We have Chiako Bagu, who is an indoor volleyball player, and Maddie Rogers, who's an Olympic weightlifter. So we have diversity in sport, diversity in talent, and we've put them all to the test. And we launched this campaign called Face Set Mindset, because when your face is set, your mind is ready to go. And it's about really this holistic approach to starting your day. So whether you're, competing in an Olympic sport, or you're just going for, a long power walk or whatever you have to do that day, our setting spray actually just helps build that confidence, locks in your look, and puts you out there for the day. So it's been really exciting for us to partner with them over it'll last throughout the summer. And again, bring our setting spray and Milani to the front and center of the conversation.
It's interesting what you said about how the idea for this campaign was born out of what you saw on social or from a creator. How often does that happen, that a campaign comes from something that you or your team see from social listening?
Yeah, I don't think that's a relatively new concept. I think the medium by which we are listening to our consumers has changed. Obviously it's hyper fluid, very dynamic, but I think about myself and why I went into marketing. Everything is consumer insight driven. There's always something there that is inspiring us. And I always look to our consumers because they are the best source of truth. And I look for those little insights, nuggets that I can take and say, hey, how do I amplify this in in the Milani way that brings the story to life? And if it worked for this one cohort of people, let's bring that to everybody else. So I think social listening, whether it's on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, or ratings and reviews, those are also great sources of insight. I'm always looking there, and my team is constantly at the forefront of those conversations.
Now, I know you do a lot on TikTok, but it does feel like that's a difficult channel for a beauty brand to really stand out in. How have you found success there?
TikTok has actually helped propel Milani to the front of the conversation. Like I said, I think making our story accessible through COVID, with the sort of democratization of TikTok has been amazing for us, and it is consumer creator led, telling their authentic experiences. And for us, we just lean into that. We're an indie brand. So when you actually look at the top 10 mass color brands of, face, lip, and eye, Milani, we're number 7. We're the second fastest growing, but we're the only one in that top 10 that is not part of a portfolio company or a strategic or publicly traded. So for us, we have to get scrappy. And when we try to lean into those conversations, we do it a little bit organic, and then we test it and see if it works. So example, Get Ready With Me was one of the fastest growing hashtags over the past few years. So GRWM is the hashtag, and we said, great, how convenient. M and Milani also. So we said to my team, have the idea, and they said, we're going to start creating an organic content campaign called Get Ready with Milani. And we started sending, creator boxes out with existing core product, and said, we're going to lean into some of the makeup trends. So clean girl summer, 5-minute face. And we just put those boxes out there and said, hey, we encourage you to try these products to achieve like the clean girl makeup look, and just hashtag GRW Milani. We've seen that to be one of our most successful hashtag campaigns with almost zero paid media behind it, just to garner attention. So for us, it's about leaning into trends to capitalize on the moment.
Besides TikTok, what other marketing channels are you finding success in? Do you ever do some of the traditional mediums?
Yeah, we last year ran a campaign called No Filter, Just Milani, in celebration of our Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation. And again, that was actually to lean into a conversation around the pushback for digital filters. And we said, why do you need a filter when you can just use Milani? And with that campaign, yes, we did TikTok, yes, we did the rest of social, but we also tested out of home. And what was interesting about out of home is, what's old is new again. But why for me it was powerful is the types of creators that we tend to partner with actually are consumers who are trying to build their own following. And we have been able to create these like cohorts of, like, we call them Milani makers. And we bring them together not only for content shoots, they are also sometimes the visuals that you would see in store. So you have them in print, and then you bring them into real life through video content. But when out of home came to play, we actually brought the girls back together to LA. And for them, this was their first time seeing themselves out in an outdoor campaign. And out of that was born more content that we didn't ask for. We took them on a tour around LA, and we're like, look, these are your billboards. Like, these are your faces. And I watched some of them cry because it's meaningful for them, because again, we're here to inspire and elevate our community, and to have them experience that for the first time for themselves. They were just so proud that they continued to shoot content, and that again helped amplify the campaign even further.
Well, we're almost out of time, but I wanted to ask you what else you're planning to focus on for the rest of this year and how you plan to lean into any other beauty trends that you're seeing.
Yeah, I think for us, because people are just discovering us, we want to make sure that we're still telling, the story of our core products. So things like baked blush, really important. It is one of the gateways to this brand. There is a blush moment happening in the marketplace right now. Everybody is launching, but we're already there. We have our liquid blush with Cheek Kiss. We have our baked blushes. So we're going to continue to tell those stories of our core product. And that's really important for us. We've been the #1 lip plumper in the mass market with our Keep It Full franchise. So we're going to continue to tell that story. We have a great product called Keep It Full Bombshell Max. And it's a great clear product, gives you great, volume on your lips, that plumping swelling effect without the injections needed. So again, just telling those product stories. I think the other piece that we're going to continue to focus on is our point of difference. We are truly prestige quality at an affordable price point at an accessible location. So we want to make sure that consumers who don't know us know our story, know why we exist, and why we are should be the brand of choice for them.
Well, I wish you the best of luck with everything. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
That was Jeremy Lowenstein, Chief Marketing Officer of Milani Cosmetics, and I'm Adrienne Pasquarelli, Special Projects Editor and Senior Reporter at Ad Age. I'd like to thank our producer, Lauren Chiardio, and invite you to subscribe to the Marketer's Brief podcast on your favorite player. We promise to keep it brief or at least short enough for your morning coffee. Thanks for tuning in.
Marketer's Brief listeners get $40 off an adage.com subscription. Sharpen your marketing edge and visit adage.com/brief for your discount.